And then what made you switch into geriatric?
Well,
Because that's interesting. Birthing babies and now dealing with the elderly. Hi there. You're listening to The Light of Care, the podcast about our company, First Light Home Care of San Francisco and the Peninsula. Our goal is to provide comfort, company, and respite care to elders in need. I'm your host, Lynn Carteris, and today I'm here with Patricia Player Maxwell. Hi there.
hello.
Patricia's the owner and Geriatric Care Manager at Maxwell Senior Care Services in San Mateo. We'll talk about her start in nursing, the importance of geriatric care, and why she started her own company. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself, Patricia.
A little bit about myself. Well, I started nursing some years ago and decided really that was not where I really wanted to be totally. I had just looked after children in a ward and it really disturbed me. So I decided to become a midwife and in 1996 came to the United States. Then I was lost. I didn't know what to do. And so having gone through a few different things, most people wanted to know my computer experience and I didn't have any. I then eventually found myself working in my local clinic.
Which was where?
I was in Foster City and it was called Mariner Medical Center. And I found that many doors opened for me and I got a job with a home care agency.
This is great. A lot of details. I kind of want to step back just a little bit and ask you what made you want to be a nurse in the first place?
So what made me think about being a nurse? I'm really not sure. I think I had a friend who was a nurse and so I thought I'd like to be like her. And I went to Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, which is one of the foremost hospitals outside of London. And I think it was because I was a little maturer than some of my colleagues that I was actually put on the oncology ward. And it tore me apart, really. And so I decided then to become a midwife. And midwifery was very different. Midwifery was a higher calling than being a nurse in the UK.
And then what made you switch into geriatric?
Well,
Because that's interesting. Birthing babies and now dealing with the elderly.
What made me do that? When I started looking for a job, because initially I thought I was going to be a lady of leisure. Well, that failed. I looked after my own father, and that was interesting. But and even though I was a nurse, I had no knowledge of how things were working for somebody who was getting cognitively disturbed in his home. And so this was good because I realized that I really felt for families. I really found a way to be helpful to them. I guess we've done something good because we're still here and, and I really enjoy what I do.
So wonderful. You've had an incredible life. I'm just curious, can you literally describe what a geriatric care manager is and does?
And I always consider myself as a project manager for an elder because I'm not actually doing the care. I'm bringing other resources in to do the care, I think.
Tell me a little bit about your team and how you picked them over other people to be part of it.
Well, I have a great team. Christina is my care manager. She's been in the home care industry for 10 years. She started off as a caregiver. She's managed caregivers. She's taught caregivers. And she's very, very into what families want. And then I have Lily. Lily is my RN. She is doing all of our medication management. And she helps when I feel that something's not quite right with somebody. I use her as a sounding board and we come up with an idea and she's really, really good. I am blessed with my team. And then, of course, my husband, he had to step up to the plate when he retired. I wouldn't let him sit at home doing nothing. And so he does all of my billing and my legal things, my hiring and firing. And manages the sort of like the back end of the business.
So just curious, what makes you different from others in the same business? And give me a list of what services you offer.
So I'll answer your last part of your question first. We provide a assessment. We tell families what we think that their family member would do better for, whether they need home care or they need home health.
What are those? Can you explain the
So
difference?
home care is when it's non-medical. We tend to work with companies that we feel comfortable with. It's not a one-size-fits-all everyone, so we have maybe 3 companies that we work with, but we always managed to have the person we prefer the most at the front. It's sort of backhanded psychology, I guess.
Well, thank you for all you do for us.
And we always put the person we want first, because then, once you talk to the first person, you probably don't go on to anybody else. But we're also living in a time of financial crises, and we have to decide what people can afford and what's in their budget. And how do we differ?
Yeah.
I think it's in the deliverables. I think it's how I look at it as a service. I'm very service-oriented. I always look at things from my point of view. How would I like to be looked after? And why should my clients receive anything less than I want for myself? And that's, I think, where the difference is.
Excellent. Very informative. You're really putting it all out there, and I love it. What advice do you give to families who are presented this situation, and how to explore care options?
When you've got giving care to somebody, as you well know, it's emotional, heart-wrenching. People are overwrought with what's going on, and they oftentimes wear themselves out trying to do what's best for mum, dad, or whoever. And when you think about it, mum and dad have become people that they don't even recognize anymore. And it's frustrating. It makes you angry. It makes all of the emotions get involved. So having somebody who is not emotional about it, who can tell them, we're going to do this, 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 and this, within reason, and they talk about it together, then that's the best way to do it.
I'm just curious what your opinion is about the importance of home care professionals and services that this industry provides.
Well, I don't know about you, but I want to die in my own home. I don't want to be in a community. It doesn't mean that I don't like communities. I just want to be within my own space, with my own people around me. But everybody needs guidance. And do we know it all? No. But we do the best we can.
Anything else you'd like to add? Do a spin on yourself? Tell us about where we can find you?
Oh, yes. Well, you can Google me. We have a website, maxwellseniorcare.com. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on care.com. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Thanks so much, Patricia. It's really been a pleasure to hear your story, learn a little bit about what you offer. We obviously do a lot of work together, and we're grateful for that. It's an interesting industry that's changing all the time. So
Absolutely.
I see where we always have to make those pivots and adjustments and continue to care.
Very difficult decisions.
Yes, of course, exactly. Well, thank you so much. We've got more interviews on the way. For now, a huge thank you for all my team involved in bringing this podcast to life. For more information, check out our website at firstlighthomecare.com. Follow us on our social media pages. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. An actress? I'm not. And now I know that I never want to be.